Not yet dark, but we're leaving the house at 6 p.m. I love living in the city.
She's sneaking up on some friends of ours because she's tricky that way. We're going to dinner with a big group of friends, and this was put together by James from the channel Texas Filipino. If you're not following James, you should be, because he's building a house and it's really cool. When I first started building our house, I was looking at those cheap bricks and they crumble, and then because they're made out of cheap cement, you fill them with cheap cement, and it's like, I assumed it's a cement wall. You'd build a form and you'd fill it with cement. And just build a form and make a cement house. And they all looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, okay, so I'll let them build it however they're going to build it. James is doing things his own way, and he is building a house of poured cement, and it looks nice. I could not make daily videos, but good for him for doing it. And we've been out to his house for his fiesta and been out to a couple dinners and stuff. It's been really fun. Mostly, I want to talk about just kind of checking in, saying hi. It's not really a tang time or anything because this is rum and coke, let's be honest. But I love being in the city. I've talked about that before. When I lived out in the province, and when I say province, I mean 10 miles away. We were not way out in the boonies, up the mountain, or any of that. We're 10 miles down the main highway, just the very first town outside the city. Technically, it's the province, which meant our electricity was more than double the price out there and went down all the time. And you couldn't catch a jeepney late at night, and taxis don't use a meter once they leave the city. They're very good in the city turning on the meter. Our house was not on the meter, and it was expensive. So we'd be going out someplace, and like 4:30 in the afternoon, we're like, oh, we got to go. It's like, man, I'm like 90 years old. Oh, it's 4:30. I got to go to bed. I hated that part. So here in the city, we're not even leaving the house till it's starting to get dark sometimes, and I love it. So we've done a few dinners with James and his whole bunch, and half that group lives in this same condo. It's crazy right now how many of those guys live in this building. We get together every once in a while, and it's been pretty cool. Melanie's sister has been here for a while, getting ready. She's doing a bunch of paperwork with government offices, and out in the province, you can't do any of it. So she's got to come here to Iloilo. So she's been staying here at our condo for a while, getting all this paperwork done. We stay at her house when we go to the province. So it's not a problem that she's staying. It amazes me how much time they have to come spend here and go back multiple times and back multiple times. And, it takes some of this stuff takes way too long. But it's been fun while she's here. We've been going out at night, doing some dinners. It's been awesome. But this last week has been hell. I went to the mall with them a couple of times, but I would let them go off and do their paperwork, doctor visits, whatever they were doing. And I would sit at the coffee shop and have a Coke because it's air conditioned and I can just sit there and eat like a little banana nut muffin, have a Coke, and just enjoy it. Then I would go to lunch or dinner with them, depending on what time we were out. But for the most part, I have just been staying home. I have been hurting bad. This is why I quit working at 48. Anyway, we're trying to get better because next week is the election. So Melanie left this morning to go to the province for a few days. She has to go back to the house out there in the province to vote next week. And unfortunately, it's a presidential election and they don't get paid for that. Local elections, they get paid. Not sure how much. Oh, are we supposed to say that out loud? Anyway, presidential elections, you don't get paid to vote. Isn't that a shame? This place is so funny sometimes. But when she comes back a week after, I think, we're supposed to be going back to Gigantes with some of her sisters. And instead of staying at the fancy resort and doing that day trip on the boat, the little cattle boat, we're going to stay on one of the larger, there's two large Gigantes islands, north and south. Not sure which one. We have cousins that live on one of those islands, and they are fishermen. So we're hoping to stay at their house, which means crashing on the floor, which is fine because I just got my ballot buy-in box in and I have a new inflatable mattress. Yay! And no aircon. They may not have electricity at night. I'm not sure. Some places only have it during the day. I need to research that. So we will either have a fan or we won't. And if we hang out with them, it's on the beach, like a bamboo house, I think. And we want to rent their boat, like charter them to take us out and do the islands a little slower, where we can go check out the scenery, do some swimming. Because on that cattle boat, it's take pictures, go, go, go. It's really cool, and it's the only way you're going to hit 5 islands in one day. But we don't need to hit 5 islands in one day. We're going to stay there for like 4 or 5 days and just enjoy it. And it sounds really good. And I hope I'm up for it, because she went back to the province today, like I said, and there was no way I was making that trip. She's like, "Do you want to go?" I'm like, "No, can't do it." This week has been hell. Anyway, while we were out at the mall, check out this jeepney. Isn't that awesome? Look at the headroom in that jeepney. You could actually stand up and walk. Unfortunately, they have handles, so I think people have to hold on and stand like in a bus. Never seen a jeepney with standing room, but that thing's tall. I like it. It wasn't going anywhere that we needed to go, so we did not ride it. But I got a picture, and that's what matters. We went to this place called Deep Cove for dinner one night. As you can see, it is dark outside. So again, we're out at night. Isn't that cool? Oh, I lived out in the province way too long. Just going out at night is like, wow, I got to get out more. But this buffet was actually not bad. I don't like seafood. I just don't like. I can eat some shrimp if it's cleaned properly. You got to peel it, cut the head off, soak it in fresh water. I don't like seafood. I don't. And this is all shellfish. Funny thing is, Melanie doesn't really like shellfish very much, but she still chose this restaurant because her sister loves it. There were 2 different rices, a plain rice and a garlic rice, a number of different clam-like items. I don't eat them, so I don't know the names of them. I don't care what the names of them are. There were 2 or 3 different clam-type things. There was a pot of pork, some chicken, some more clam-type things, and noodles. I ate rice, noodles, and chicken. The pork looked like pork until I started digging through it. It's usually like this big, thick strip of fat with a tiny strip of meat. No, it was just the fat. There was not even any meat in there by accident. It was an entire pot of boiled pork fat. And although I am fat, I don't want to eat fat. So I had chicken, noodles, and rice. And it was actually very good. And since it was only 199 pesos, I got my money's worth. And so they ate tons of the clams. As you sit down, they bring out a huge pile of oysters also. They're not out on the buffet, but they bring them out. Not sure if you could ask for more. We didn't, because her sister's the only one that eats oysters, and that giant plate was apparently 1 serving because she did pretty good damage on it. But we had a great time. We've been having fun going out, doing some stuff at night, and I'm really enjoying being in the city. Not enjoying this last week of being sick, but hey, life's tough. It sucks, but that's what it is. At Robinson's Mall, they have these kiosks set up, and at lunch, they're open, but they don't do any business. At night, they pick up a lot. So we get to come out and see some of this. It's always fun. Unfortunately, these pictures were taken during the day because at night we went out to dinner a different direction. So we are out having some fun, enjoying our time, visiting with other foreigners to practice our English, because there's not a lot of English spoken in this house, especially when families stay in. And hopefully we will get to Gigantes for a really nice week-long visit, sleeping on the beach. We'll see how that goes. This is my inflatable mattress. It doesn't usually stay inflated, but we just got it in the ballot buy-in box. And last night we had a cousin staying and she slept on it. So I didn't even get to use it first. Somebody else used it first. And I need to deflate it and roll it up, put it away. But I left it out to show you because I love ballot buy-in box day. I'm making a video on it, but it hadn't been done yet. I mentioned it's been a fucked up week. Man, I've been hurting. So I love being able to go out at night. And matter of fact, did I mention Melanie went out to the province so she could vote? That means I am unsupervised this weekend. And there's a bar. When we were at the restaurant the other day with all those foreigners, I looked out the window and I saw a bar, Monkey Business. And I looked it up online. The pictures look nice. And they call themselves an upscale bar and have a link to make a reservation. I'm like, oh, that sounds like that's out of my, I like a dive bar. And I looked online at their menu and their prices are pretty reasonable. And it's a nice looking place. So I think I'm going to go try that this weekend. And if it's too expensive, I'll go around the corner because there's a couple of little dive bars that I really like. So we'll try and get some of that on film. But if I'm out drinking and, stumbling around, I'm not going to be filming anything. But we'll let you know how that goes. I'm always looking for a nice bar to hang out at. But we have cousins that live on one of them. They're fishing. They have
Enjoy your day in paradise.